Well, there it is. It's official. Puerto Rico's finest, Bad Bunny, will be the Apple Music Super Bowl 60 halftime show.
Yeah, I don't know how I got this halftime show for the NFL.
I am the most overrated Latino singer of all time.
September 28th, 2025. The NFL drops what should be routine news. Bad Bunny will headline the Super Bowl. 72 hours later, a Trump administration official threatens immigration raids. A petition demanding his removal explodes past 70,000 signatures. A conservative group announces a competing show celebrating, quote, anything in English. This wasn't just backlash, this was war. Within weeks, the question shifted. Not whether Bad Bunny would perform, but whether his fans would even be safe. One of America's biggest cultural events was being framed as a matter of national security. At the center stood a Puerto Rican artist who sings in Spanish, fights gentrification, and refuses to stay quiet. How did 15 minutes of music become government threats, patriotic counter-programs, and a battle over American identity? The answer reveals far more than outrage over a halftime show. Rewind. Bad Bunny isn't a random pick. Born Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio in Puerto Rico, he shattered every rule Latin artists were given. Stay in Spanish, they said. You'll never cross over. He bet on his culture anyway, and dominated. 3 consecutive years, 2020 through 2022, he was Spotify's most streamed artist globally. Not Latin category, total, period. 3-time Grammy winner. His 2022 album, Un Verano Sin Ti, became the first all-Spanish record to top Billboard 200. When Debí Tirar Más Fotos dropped in January 2025, Plena and Salsa hit #1 on Apple Music for the first time in history. Over 18 billion streams in 2022 alone. These aren't niche numbers. This is planetary dominance. But Bad Bunny represents more than metrics. He's unapologetically political. In 2019, he helped topple Puerto Rico's corrupt governor, releasing Afilando los Cuchillos, sharpening the knives as a protest anthem. After Hurricane Maria killed an estimated 3,000 people in 2017, he blasted Trump's disastrous response. He wore a shirt reading, "Are you a tweeter?" or "President" at a benefit concert, while Trump tossed paper towels to survivors like party favors. His 2022 music video El Apagón exposed power companies failing Puerto Rico. His 2024 single Una Velita protested government neglect. This wasn't celebrity virtue signaling. This was using the biggest platform in music to fight for his people. He didn't stop. In October 2024, after a comedian at Trump's rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage, Bad Bunny backed Kamala Harris. He spent hundreds of thousands on billboards, urging Puerto Ricans to reject pro-statehood politicians he believed were selling the island. He made a short film about gentrification displacing native Puerto Ricans. For Bad Bunny, everything connects. Music equals politics, equals identity. You can't separate them. So when the NFL chose him for the Super Bowl, they weren't just booking an entertainer. They were declaring whose culture deserves America's biggest stage. Not everyone agreed. Hours after the September 28th announcement, conservative fury erupted. Trump went on Newsmax and claimed, "I never heard of him. I don't know who he is. I don't know why they're doing it." It's absolutely ridiculous. This from a man watching the most streamed artist on earth. But the message was clear. To Trump, Bad Bunny didn't exist. Because he sang in Spanish. Because he represented a culture Trump refused to recognize as American. Others piled on. Corey Lewandowski, Trump advisor and Homeland Security consultant, appeared on podcaster Benny Johnson's show October 1st. When asked if ICE would enforce at the Super Bowl, Lewandowski didn't blink.
Puerto Rican dude whose music I haven't heard any of, but his name's Bad Bunny, and he says that he dislikes Donald Trump. He endorsed Kamala Harris, and he doesn't sing in English, but nonetheless, he's been hired as the Super Bowl halftime show.
There is nowhere you can provide safe haven to people in this country illegally. Not the Super Bowl and nowhere else. We will find you, apprehend you, put you in a detention facility and deport you. He called Bad Bunny's selection shameful, claiming the artist hated America. Let that sink in. A government official threatened immigration raids at the Super Bowl, the event drawing over 115 million viewers. Families, kids, football fans, all because a Puerto Rican artist was performing. Bad Bunny is a U.S. citizen. Puerto Ricans have been citizens since 1917. He's as American as anyone, but in Lewandowski's framing, Spanish lyrics and immigration criticism made you anti-American, made you dangerous. Days later, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem escalated further. On October 4th, she told Benny Johnson ICE would be all over the Super Bowl. She warned people should only attend if they're law-abiding Americans who love this country. The implication hit hard. Support Bad Bunny? Latino? Speak Spanish? Maybe you're not law-abiding. Maybe you're the enemy. This wasn't empty talk. ICE confirmed to TMZ agents would deploy to Super Bowl the 60th. What began as cultural controversy became actual security operations. The federal government weaponized America's biggest event. The message? We're watching, we're hunting, nobody's safe. The backlash mushroomed. A Change.org petition demanded the NFL replace Bad Bunny with George Strait, the country legend. It claimed the halftime show should honor American culture, stay family-friendly, avoid political spectacles. The petition attacked Bad Bunny's drag performance. He wore a dress in one music video and Spanish lyrics as inappropriate. By late October, over 70,000 signatures. The creators framed it as defending tradition. The subtext screamed louder. Real American music? English. Real American culture? White. Everything else? Divisive. Then, the nuclear option. Turning Point USA, the conservative group founded by the late Charlie Kirk, announced a competing halftime show. The All-American Halftime Show, airing simultaneously with Bad Bunny, celebrating faith, family, freedom. Their website let people request genres. Options included Americana, classic rock, country, worship music, and the most revealing choice? Anything in English. They weren't hiding anymore. This was about language, about visibility, about whose culture counts. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell tried damage control. At an October 22nd press conference, he held firm. He's one of the leading and most popular entertainers in the world. This was carefully thought through. I don't think we've ever selected an artist without some blowback. He promised Bad Bunny would deliver an exciting and united moment. His words barely dented the fury. By now, controversy overshadowed the actual game. Sports networks dissected it. Political pundits screamed. Social media exploded with think pieces and memes. Some saw blatant racism and xenophobia. Others genuinely believed the NFL disrespected American values. The culture war found its newest battlefield. Bad Bunny stood center, defiant. He responded perfectly. On October 4th, hosting Saturday Night Live, he delivered his entire opening monologue in Spanish. He discussed how meaningful the Super Bowl was for Latinos, Puerto Ricans, everyone who fought to open doors. Then he stared into the camera and said in English, "If you didn't understand what I just said, you have 4 months to learn." The audience erupted, bold, funny, and unmistakably a middle finger to everyone demanding he shrink himself. Support grew too. Shakira, who co-headlined the 2020 Super Bowl with Jennifer Lopez, praised the decision as a proud moment for Latin music. NFL Chief Marketing Officer Tim Ellis defended it at a conference. "We have over 200 million fans. Not everyone will like everything we do. Bad Bunny is incredibly talented." Hollywood icon Rita Moreno, 93 years old and having lived through decades of Latino erasure, dismissed critics as "what a nuisance." Latino NFL players posted videos jamming to his music. Even some conservatives admitted they didn't know his work. They just hated what he represented. What did he represent? That's the real question. To fans, Bad Bunny means pride, resistance, refusal to assimilate or apologize. Proof you don't need to abandon your language or culture to succeed. You can be yourself, loudly, and the world listens. To critics, he represents everything they fear. A changing America. A country where Spanish rivals English. Where white conservative traditions don't dominate every space. where a Puerto Rican artist owns the biggest stage and doesn't code switch, doesn't translate, doesn't explain. That's why the backlash was so vicious. It wasn't about Bad Bunny. It was about who defines American culture, more specifically, who gets to be visible. For decades, Latin artists were told to sing in English for mainstream success. Soften your accent. Make your culture palatable. Bad Bunny refused. Still became the biggest artist on earth. That terrified people who believe American exceptionalism requires English dominance. The ICE threats made it sinister. Bad Bunny had already announced months earlier he was skipping US tour stops on his world tour. He told ID magazine in September he feared ICE would raid concerts and target his fans. People from the US come to see me, but there was the issue of ICE would be outside my concert. It's something we were very concerned about. Now those fears were validated. The government explicitly threatened immigration enforcement at his only US appearance, using his performance to intimidate Latino communities, sending a message: stay in line, stay invisible, or face consequences. Some dismiss this as overblown, just politics, just noise. But it wasn't. This was deliberate intimidation, making Latinos feel unwelcome in their own country. Puerto Ricans are US citizens. They serve in the military at higher rates than many states. They contribute billions to the economy. Yet here was the government treating their biggest star like a threat, treating his fans like criminals for existing. As February 2026 approaches, tension persists. Bad Bunny remains scheduled for Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara. The All-American halftime show still plans to counter-program. ICE confirmed agents will be present. Millions will watch, not just for football, but to witness what happens. Will Bad Bunny make a political statement? Will protests erupt? Will ICE conduct raids? Nobody knows. But this Super Bowl will be remembered not for touchdowns, but for what it revealed about America. Here's the truth. Bad Bunny wasn't explicitly called a national security threat in those exact words by officials, but the rhetoric came dangerously close. Calling him shameful, claiming he hates America, threatening fans with deportation, mobilizing a federal agency against a concert. What is that if not treating someone as a threat? Semantics don't matter. Intent was crystal clear. Silence him. Intimidate supporters. Reassert dominance over who controls American culture. Bad Bunny didn't back down. He never has. From protesting corrupt governors to supporting hurricane survivors to fighting gentrification, he's used his voice. Now, on the Super Bowl stage, he'll do it again. In Spanish, unapologetically, loudly. That's what this controversy was really about. Not security, not patriotism, control. And the realization they're losing it. If you found this breakdown insightful, subscribe for more deep dives into the stories shaping pop culture. We analyze how fame, conflict, and power collide, because understanding these battles helps us see who's really playing the game. In this case, the game was rigged from the start, but Bad Bunny didn't flinch, and that might be the most American thing of all.